Hey guys, it's time to talk about the Washington Capitals after what was an absolute, just almost a breakout season for a team that, is aging and, Alex Ovechkin's getting up there in age, closing in on retirement. Everyone's saying, oh, they're only interested in, the grade eight breaking the um,
The record.
Gretzky's record, which he did, but he didn't just break the record. They finished first in the East and with 111 points in total, 51 wins. Unfortunately, didn't make it too far in the playoffs, getting bounced in the second round. But still, an absolute fantastic effort from the Washington Capitals. Not only Alex Ovechkin breaking the record, but to put up that sort of performance when a lot of people were questioning, where the franchise was heading, and if they were heading in the right direction, chasing, whilst chasing this record. But they proved the haters wrong, and I think they're still looking pretty strong heading into this season as well, Jaden. How about we go through that projected lineup?
Yeah, so I'll just go through the projected lineup. So obviously you got Ovi, Strome, Bouvillier, he is remaining. Protaz, Dubois, Leonard, Miro Shnichenko. So, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but it's a weird name. McMichael, Wilson, Duhaime, Dowd, and Saudif, or Saudif, however you want to say it. Um, Fehervari. My God, all these names on the Washington Capitals,
Ferravare.
yeah, are hard to pronounce. I'm glad I am not an announcer for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Carlson, Sandin, Roy, Chikrin, and Van Riemsdyk. Then in the goaltending, in the net, you got Thompson and Lindgren. Um, Pretty much not much to say in regards to moves. Obviously, they keep Bouvillier, they re-sign him. Sort of comes in for some picks. Chisholm comes in for a picks and a prospect. That's pretty much in regards to trades, and there was really no um, like free agent signings, just a lot of entry level contracts and extensions that happened. Notable losses: they did lose, I think it was Manjapani through free agency, and then Taylor Radish as well. Um, so a couple, noticeable outs. People that played 80 games for them last year, and they haven't really brought much in. They do have 4.2 million cap space. They do have something to work with there. All in all, strong team. It is an aging team. I'm interested to see if last year was a fluke, but
Mm-hmm.
in saying that, the Metro is looking pretty weak right now. So I don't see why they can't, repeat. But all in all, I'm interested to see if they can maintain it or if age really does start to kick these guys in the bucket. But do you reckon this team, one, makes playoffs, or two, replicates what they did last year and first overall in the Metro?
I don't think they need to replicate last year, but I do think they'll still be a playoff team. Even if they were to sort of bounce back a little bit, or sorry, regress a little bit, because at the end of the day, they've just proved they finished with 111 points and got kicked out in the second round. As you've seen with a few teams lately, you just really need to get into the playoffs. Edmonton and Florida are prime examples of that. But what I'm liking about these guys is, yes, they are aging, and Ovechkin unsure whether he's going to play on after this season. But they've managed to drop their average age with a few big inclusions into this team. You look at like Pierre-Luc Dubois, 27, prime age. They obviously picked up Dylan Strome a little while back, but still, in that prime age. Protas coming through is in prime age, and he's looking unreal as well. Jacob Chikrin, 27 years old. They've managed to Logan Thompson as well, goaltender. They've managed to somehow flip assets into these players that other teams almost wanted to just get rid of and give away these players. You look at Chikrin, Ottawa wasn't working out in Ottawa. Comes to Washington, he's been fantastic. Dubois wasn't wanted at the Kings. They got rid of Kemper for him, which Kemper wasn't wanted at the Caps. So they've just managed to flip this team into a competitive playoff team out of nowhere, really. Like,
Yeah,
and I just think it's fascinating how they've done this, because they were for a little while there. It did look like Ovechkin was really just going to play out his final seasons chasing that record, get the record. Washington are going to bottom out. They're going to need a rebuild, and somehow the management has just turned this team back into a playoff
yeah.
team, and I can't see them missing the playoffs. Even next year, if Ovechkin retires, I still think this team has enough in it without Alex Ovechkin there. Although I hope he does play on.
Yeah, so like they did what I said they should do if you're going to go for it, and I say this for a couple other teams as well. And they did small trades in the sense, but they took on risky assets. Like it
Mm,
was a risk, but there's huge upside potential if the player works out. So what they have played at, or what what their ceiling could be.
mm,
And they did like 4 or 5 of those risky pickups, and they pretty much majority worked out. And that's why we saw such a big increase, is because they did good asset management, risk taking, yet they had to do it because that's how you get the benefits, with how their cap was and the aging of the team.
mm,
Obviously they're without Backstrom these days. Ovi eventually going to go. I'm a little bit more pessimistic than you in regards to the team in future, not this year, but in
mm.
future, just because I
Yeah.
think Columbus, Islanders, I think Columbus, Islanders, New Jersey, I think they're going to go on a sort of an era, um, and be the top three at some point, pretty quickly. And
Mm,
then this team and whatever others will be fighting for the wild cards. Um, that's my future. This year, oh, I think there'll be I think there'll be a bit more pushback on them. I think they're
mm.
still more physical and stronger, um,
Hmm.
team compared to the other Metro teams. Like Carolina's pretty speedy and small. New Jersey speedy and small. And I think that's where this team dominates, and that's key. My only issue is some of the players are old, for playoffs. This is, and that's where injuries and rebounding from big hits becomes a thing. We know Ovi's done
Yeah.
it his whole career, but when you get older, it gets harder. We all know that. So having Carlson at 35, Van Riemsdyk 34, Ovi 40, Dowd 35, like those, not all key players, but those are big names in Carlson and Ovi, pretty high ages. But all in all,
Mm,
I like the team. I probably would have liked to see another addition to replace that, like Manjapani type of asset leaving. I know they
mm,
do have Miroshnichenko. He played like 18 games last year to probably play a majority of the season. And also, just on the side note, let us know in the comments if you're a Caps fan and if the protests are protest brothers. Ilya, I haven't looked it up, but it'd be interesting to know if they actually are the brothers. So Ilya and then Alexei. Um, but although I don't have much more to say, they really didn't do much. It's just they're
no,
running it back, and they're the same kind of team. Like there's no real difference.
no, I don't think there's too much to say on them, really. I think they're going to be solid. They're going to probably be in the top three in the Metro, unless you see something crazy from like the New York Rangers. That might sort of kick them out if Carolina and New Jersey are as strong as what we expect them to be, and then maybe the Rangers put a bit of pressure on the Caps. But I I see them making the playoffs. I see them being competitive, potentially for like making it past the first round like they did again. Can they win it? I'm not gonna put them off. With Ovi. I think Ovi's that sort of player that just he elevates come playoffs, but he is getting older. I probably don't see them as a true contender, but I definitely think they're going to be competitive playoff team for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm probably the same. I don't see him winning the cup. I don't really see
Mm,
the way they win the cup unless it's one of those like Washington Capitals, St. Louis type of runs, where it's
mm,
just kind of out of nowhere. Um, but ultimately, I really can't see it. I do see them making like a second round again.
hmm.
I definitely see this team like a second round, and even maybe in the conference final. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I can't see him getting past. which is a shame. Unless they use the 4 million and add some sort of assets to just give them that extra depth, then
Yeah.
that can change the game. If you bring
Go out and make yet another, ridiculous, like bring in another Chikrin or another
just make another
Pierre-Luc
risky trade.
Dubois. Like,
That's what they
yeah, I
did.
mean, look, they had nothing to lose, and it's worked out for them, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Bring in Logan Thompson.
Well, you,
He's
you
been
need
unreal
upside
for
in your
them.
trades, right? And you do that by taking risk, and then those players
Mm,
outperform their contracts. That's how you make money in this league, and not many teams
mhm.
have been doing that. And I give my hats off to them to actually make those calls.
Yep.
And that's where they got to where they are now, and they got, like you said, some really good aged players now that are really rounding out the core.
Yeah.
Um, really
I
smart asset management. Probably one of the smartest in the league, honestly.
mm, I definitely feel like they need to improve that. They need to probably improve that right wing. I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit lacking.
Yes.
Um, Tom Wilson's obviously fantastic. They got, Protas coming through. He's played a bit of right wing, although he floats between the both. Um, but yeah, I feel like they're probably missing. They're missing a right winger
They
at the
mean
end
they
of the
mi-
day.
I think they're just missing a top six winger.
Mm,
That's what they're missing. You're
yeah,
not going to get that for 4 mil unless you're taking like some sort of risky asset and hoping to bounce back. But
yeah,
honestly, asset management can be done. Eating a bad
hmm
contract and he turns out to be good. Um, but yeah, I agree that it is funny to say like, oh, the wings are the Capitals' weakness at the moment
mm.
with Ovi on that team. But
Oh,
because I,
100%.
I like Strome down the middle. I like Dubois if he plays how he can play, and then obviously
McMichael
McMichaels and
and
Dowd.
Dowd. Yeah,
It's just solid. So
it
yeah,
is.
just add another winger. Their defense will get it done. Goaltending, I don't really have any issues with ultimately. So yeah, just add another winger for 5 mil,
Pretty
and
much.
this team is rounded out. All right, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we'll leave it there then. Yeah, don't forget, let us know in the comments what you think of the Washington Capitals and their prospects for this year, if the Protas boys are brothers or not. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue watching our other content. But till next time, we'll catch you guys.
Bye, guys.